Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the third episode of The Perfect 10 with Malav the Mongoose. As you know, this is a show where you don't back down. Now we're going to get to a point guard in the NBA that plays for the New York Knicks by the name of Jeremy Lin, a man who also does not back down. A man who has hit game winners this week against the Toronto Raptors, a three-pointer at the buzzer with 0.5 of a second left, and also a man who can get his teammates involved as he did yesterday when he played the Sacramento Kings and dished out 13 assists to go along with 10 points and showing that he does not need to score the basketball to be effective. Yes, I'm going to talk about Jeremy Lin, and I'm going to explain to you the player he reminds me of most. The player he reminds me of most is Steve Nash. He is like Steve Nash to the effect that when he needs to score, he can score, just as Steve Nash has done throughout his whole career. In a game against the Los Angeles Lakers on the last Friday night when he was playing against Derek Fisher and had a favorable matchup, and when Amar'e Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony were out, Jeremy Lin put up 38 points and showed that, hey, he can carry the team when he needs to score. Now, yesterday, when you got Amar'e Stoudemire back and everybody was worried, how are they going to distribute the shots? How are they going to basically keep everybody happy? Jeremy Lin showed you that he does not need to score to be effective. He dished out 13 assists, only took 6 shots to score his 10 points, and basically made Bill Walker a very good player and got the ball, as he always does, to guys in their key spots. This explains why the New York Knicks are on a 7-game winning streak and have moved up to the number 8 spot in the Eastern Conference and are now with a 15-15 record. Now you're going to tell me, hey, what has Jeremy Lin done that is very spectacular, that has elevated the level of his teammates, that has allowed the Knicks to go on a 7-game winning streak? Well, what he's done is basically run the Dantoni offense the way Steve Nash ran it in Phoenix for all those years where the Suns were effective. What Jeremy Lin has done is penetrate when he needs to penetrate, not necessarily to score, but sometimes to create openings in the defense where he could dish to his teammates or basically to just break down the defense and score himself. Now, I'm going to point a few different examples. In the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he got the ball in the post to Landry Fields for an easy layup. Previously, Landry Fields was an ineffective player prior to Jeremy Lin arriving on the scene. This was because he was not getting the balls in his correct spot. So what a great point guard, or a very good point guard at the least with Jeremy Lin, what he does for your team is that he knows how to get the ball to guys in their spots for them to score. He has done so with Landry Fields, and Landry Fields has responded by becoming an effective player again. He has also done so with Steve Novak. Later in that same game against the Timberwolves, he got the ball to Novak, and Novak drained a key 3 to help the New York Knicks win the game. Again, Steve Novak was another player, a 6'10 player who specializes in three-pointers, that was not a very effective player prior to Jeremy Lin becoming an effective player. Now, Jeremy Lin, people would argue that, hey, maybe he has not played the competition in terms of the Knicks have not played great teams during the stretch. I would counter that by saying they have. Last Friday night, the Knicks played the Los Angeles Lakers, and Jeremy Lin responded with a 38-point output to win that game and really show that, hey, he's ready to carry the team and ready to step up when guys like Carmelo and Amar'e are out. And people will also contradict, basically say, hey, Mongoose, he has not played the great point guards. I will counter that by saying that he has. During his first game, he had a great game against Deron Williams to beat the Nets, who's one of the great point guards in the league. He took over against the Washington Wizards and put a number on John Wall. And as we know, back in 2010, that's where he really made a name for himself by putting a great game on John Wall in the Summer League. So he has played very good teams in the Los Angeles Lakers. He has played other good individual players. And Jeremy Lin has proven that as an NBA basketball player, win or lose, he's not going to back down. And what epitomized that is the game against the Toronto Raptors the night before they just played the Sacramento Kings. And in that game, Jeremy Lin had the ball tied 87-87. And the Knicks basically were holding for a last shot. Jeremy Lin saw that he was getting space from his defender, Jose Calderon, and drained a game-winning three-pointer with 0.5 of the second left. Now, Jeremy Lin has a specific skill besides his athleticism in that he knows how to make the correct basketball play. In that situation where he hit the game-winning shot, he saw that the defender was giving him some space. Instead of driving to the hole where other defenders would be, he decided to raise up and take a shot. Although a three-pointer is not necessary in that situation, it was obvious, based on the fact that his defender was giving him space and there were no other help defenders around, that that was the best shot in that situation, and that's what Jeremy did. He took it. Now, at the end of the day, Jeremy Lin has also proven that, hey, he is prone to some turnovers, But I would counter that by saying while he needs to work on those, that is also part of being in the Dantoni offense. Jeremy has basically had 5 turnovers an average of a game, but that goes with 9 assists. So basically, he almost has a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which you can live with. As we know, the blueprint for how to run the Dantoni offense is Steve Nash in Phoenix. And Steve Nash was always a pretty high turnover guy, but he countered this by basically getting high assists. And even when he didn't directly get the assist, he got the pass that led to another player getting the basket. So Jeremy Lin is doing those things. So I believe you can live with some of these turnovers. No player is going to be perfect. Obviously, it's something he will work on. But at the end of the day, what he is producing is 24 points, 9 assists, and 5 turnovers. 24 points and 9 assists are elite point guard numbers. If you get those numbers or close to it every night from him, you will be a very happy guy if you're a Knicks fan. Now, for the Knicks to really contend in the Eastern Conference, Lin does not necessarily have to produce that many number of points. What he has to do is basically cut down a little bit on his turnovers, maybe get them to 3 or 4, and possibly even raise his assist numbers, which should happen once Carmelo Anthony gets back facilitated into the offense. So Lin could probably bring his points back down to around 15 or 16, and I would even argue the points are irrelevant as long as he keeps getting everybody involved in the offense, whether it be Steve Novak, as I said, or Landry Fields, as we discussed previously. And also, he has even made Bill Walker a player who produced 14 points yesterday against the Kings. So as long as he works on those aspects of the game, in addition to working on his defense, in mainly his help defense, because he's a pretty good on-ball defender, then I think the Knicks will be okay. Now I'm going to go to the Knicks' main competition in the East, and I'm actually going to get to a guy who actually does back down, and that I'm going to talk about LeBron James. He has backed down last year in the NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks, and he appears to be backing down again when he is discussing his NBA future. LeBron, as we all know, was part of a huge decision last year in Miami. He decided to go to the Miami Heat and leave the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, he has apologized for this many, many times, and to me it's a done deal. It's over. You should be concentrating on your time in Miami. Instead, LeBron is, again, trying to have everybody like him and trying to make everybody feel good and say, hey, when my days in Miami are numbered, maybe I'll go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. To me, there's no purpose to say that at this time. There's no purpose to discussing it. He should be solely focused on what his team is doing, and I think he's making the wrong decision by even bringing it up. At the very earliest, it's probably 4 years down the line, because LeBron is not going to be opting out next year because he's going to probably stay in Miami. So really, it's going to be a situation where if he doesn't opt out the year after this year in 2013, this process of playing Miami is going to go on for 4 years when you include this season. There's no need to discuss this right now. He should be focused on his main competition, which is the Chicago Bulls and possibly coming up the New York Knicks. So the NBA has gotten very interesting. As we say, it's time to discuss the NBA as football is now over. And there's a lot of great storylines in the league. I believe your favorite, if you're going to bet on who's going to win the championship, is still the Oklahoma City Thunder. To me, they have the best competition of the most talent while also playing together as a team. When you're going to combine Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, to me you have filled very important positions in the small forward with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook as the point guard respectively. In addition, you have the role players in terms of you have Thabo Cephalosha as a defensive stopper. You have Kendrick Perkins to provide some inside toughness. And you have James Harden coming off the bench to provide that third scoring punch when either Westbrook or Durant does not have his game going. And to me, they play the most effectively as a unit. They also have Nick Collison as a dirty work player. And they have the best overall team concept combined with individual talent. To me, Miami is a bunch of individual parts coming together, while the Bulls, while they play as a team, do not have the individual talent that a team like the Thunder have. So the Thunder have the best competition, the best combination of both individual talent and teamwork. And to me, they even discuss the Knicks right now. They may have something going in the future. But right now, you really have to just see how things come out when Carmelo Anthony comes back. For more on that, check back next week with the Mongoose. Remember, as Jeremy Lin does, we don't back down in the show. Take care, guys.